Hi everyone, my name is Anju Franklin and today I will be discussing Kenya's progress in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals 2030, which I will also refer to as SDGs throughout this presentation. Kenya is located in East Africa in the sub-Saharan region and has a population size just below 50 million. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development was adopted by all UN member states in 2015. At the heart of the agenda are the 2030 SDGs, which were essentially designed to create a global partnership centered on peace and prosperity for the planet, with the hopes of ending poverty, improving health and education, addressing climate change, and supporting economic growth. The 2030 SDGs include no poverty, no hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, renewable energy, economic growth, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable communities, responsible consumption, climate action, sustainable wildlife, peace and justice, and partnerships. Kenya had already been working towards sustainable development through an economic blueprint that was designed within the country called Kenya Vision 2030, which is being implemented in 5-year increments. Kenya was in its 8th year of implementing Kenya Vision at the time of the adoption of the UN's SDG agenda, placing Kenya on the right track toward 2030 goals. With that being said, Kenya Vision 2030 and the UN Sustainable Development Goals have coexisted since 2015. The primary pillars of Kenya Vision are related to economy, politics, and social welfare. The 3 pillars were mapped with each of the 17 SDGs in an attempt to ensure that goals for both agendas would be achieved. All of the countries that have adopted Agenda 2030 are given an SDG index score. Kenya has a score of 56.8, which suggests that Kenya is on average 56% of the way to achieving the best possible outcomes across the 17 SDGs. Globally, Kenya is ranked 119 out of 156, meaning it's in 119th place for the best SDG outcomes. As you can see, Kenya is making progress towards sustainable development. However, they have yet to completely meet any of the 17 goals as of 2018. But SDG trends are showing that the country is on target to reach goal number 5, gender equality, and goal 13, taking action to combat climate change. As for goal number 5, Kenya has had growth in the female-to-male labor force and contraception distribution. However, Kenya still needs to increase the female-to-male mean years of schooling and increase the seats held by women in national parliaments. Some challenges to gender equality have included high level of tolerance of gender-based violence and other cultural traditions such as female genital mutilation. Kenya has placed goal number 13 at high priority, being that climate is a major factor for most of the country's economic activities. Kenya has improved on energy-related CO2 emissions, but the country still needs to work on developing a climate change vulnerability index. The Kenya Climate Change Working Group has united to take action. A few of the goals that are at risk of not being met by 2030 include goal number 6, sustainable management of water and sanitation, goal number 7, ensuring access to sustainable energy, goal number 4, equitable and quality education for all, goal number 10, reduced inequalities, and goal 15, life on land. Kenya is considered to be highly insufficient in the sustainable management of water and sanitation. But in efforts to address the issue, the Nairobi Water and Sewage Company installed water ATMs, which enables residents to access quality water cheaply. The ATMs use an AQ tap technology, and residents pay for water using mobile technology. This has reduced the cost of water to the community. Kenya is also considered to be highly insufficient in ensuring access to reliable and sustainable energy. But recent data has shown that nearly 5.95 million households have been connected to electricity supply. Additionally, Kenya is in the process of building the largest wind farm in Africa. Next, Kenya still has to work on equitable and quality education for all. The country needs to focus on targets relevant to increasing the mean years of schooling and increasing the literacy rate of 15 to 24-year-olds. But Kenya has made progress in meeting this goal. Organized learning has increased, the country installed free primary education, and they are providing more organized training for teachers. Thus far, Kenya is considered to be highly insufficient in reducing inequalities, goal number 10. Kenya has a Gini coefficient of 40.8, which suggests that there's a relatively wide gap in wealth between the rich and the poor. But the country is working toward decreasing that gap by introducing programs relevant to social welfare. Last, Kenya is not on track to achieve goal number 15, life on land. Kenya needs to make improvements in the protection of land and freshwater sites. In efforts to make improvements towards this goal, the Kenyan government enacted the Forest Conservation and Management Act in 2016. They have developed several initiatives to reclaim degraded land, and they have started commercial tree growing. It's important to note that sub-Saharan African countries face major challenges in achieving the SDGs, so Kenya's challenges with meeting the 2030 goals should not be scrutinized with an overly critical eye. Ending extreme poverty and hunger, ensuring basic access to water and sanitation, and strengthening access to quality education and health remain to be major challenges in most countries in this region. Compared to the rest of the sub-Saharan region, Kenya's SDG index score is above average, with Kenya scoring 56.8 while the regional score is 52.8. But as previously mentioned, the majority of countries in this region are considered to be highly insufficient in the 17 goals. However, the countries do tend to score better on sustainable consumption and climate action. The Kenyan government, along with non-state actors and other partners, have committed to converging development objectives outlined by both Kenya Vision 2030 and the US SDGs in efforts to create monumental change within the country. Kenya has also been working hard to implement multi-level policies and strategies that complement the advancement of the SDGs. And although Kenya is yet to reach any of the 17 SDGs, in the near future, we can hopefully expect Kenya to reach goals relating to gender equality and climate action, with goals in water and sanitation following shortly after. It will most likely take a substantially longer time for Kenya to achieve reduced inequality, quality education for all, sustainable energy, and improved life on land. Future steps for Kenya to achieve the 2030 SDGs include raising awareness about goals and capacity building, mainstreaming the SDGs into the third installment of Kenya Vision 2030, improving data and surveillance systems, enhancing multi-stakeholder participation in the SDG process, and enhanced resource mobilization.